Hey everybody, it's Jason Blah here, and I put up a workout from yesterday, and I've picked up quite a few new subscribers in the last week or two, and someone had asked me, hey, I noticed you pick up the weight off the floor for every single set of your overhead press or your push press. Is there a benefit to doing that? So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. Yeah, there absolutely is a benefit to doing that. There is a benefit to doing all of your exercises off the floor. Well, I'm not saying you need to do every exercise off the floor, but in general, if you pick up all your weights off the floor, that you are physically capable of doing so, there are enormous benefits in terms of removing weak links, improving your overall athleticism, improving your work capacity, things like that. You see a lot of people who will say things like, well, I don't want to detract away from my main exercise to waste energy doing that. You've got to look at people and wonder how much energy do they really think they're wasting if they clean their dumbbells up or pick up their dumbbells off the floor rather than have a spotter hand them to them and sit down on the bench when they do a dumbbell press, or clean the weight up off the floor for an overhead press, or even pick their curls up off the floor. In general, the picking up and moving of various weights, and particularly if you have to clean them into position, particularly with something relatively heavy that you have to sit down, move things, kick them into position, whether it's dumbbell presses or cleaning stuff up off the floor, it has a lot of carryover to your general physical preparedness. And if you do lots and lots of it, particularly a lot of cleaning weights up, it removes weaklings in your musculature, meaning because it has so much core involvement, glute involvement, the involvement of stabilizers to just continually pick up and clean weights and things like that all the time. If you're always doing these things and you do most of your exercises from the floor, you are more likely to develop better explosiveness. Because again, moving weights from a dead stop, moving weights from the floor improves overall explosiveness through your full body. It tends to work every muscle in your body, and it tends to start to shore up a lot of the common weak links that you have. There's also the aspect of it that has to do with, again, GPP, just general physical preparedness. It improves just overall preparedness, overall athleticism. And if we really start thinking in this mentality of doing as many exercises as we can standing, picking weights up, and overhead pressing is a big one. A lot of people overhead press, and it's not just with barbells. How about dumbbells? How about if you start doing your dumbbell work for your shoulders, even standing? You clean those up. Do them standing. Quit looking for things to support you. Quit looking for benches and things to sit down on, or chest supported rows, or all these different things that people do. At a certain point, people need to realize that just moving weights up off the floor, heavy weights, picking them up all the time, improves your overall musculature. It improves your overall strength. It will shore up a lot of different weak links in your body over time. And like we said, let's talk about work capacity. People say things like, well, I don't want to detract from my main exercise doing all of these things. Really? So you would rather just have weak links in your body? You'd rather be unathletic? Come on. Do you really think that your shoulders aren't going to develop and your triceps aren't going to develop because you clean the weight up off the floor? Do you really think it's going to interfere with that? That's as bad as the people who say, I don't do any cardio because I'm afraid of it interfering with my gains. Again, people need to understand these are misnomers. These are ideas coming out of the bodybuilding world that aren't necessarily based upon truth. Because I can assure you, a lot of your top athletes in the world who still have amazing physiques and amazing strength, they don't shy away from general physical preparedness. They don't shy away from conditioning. Hell, look at someone like J.J. Watt. Perfect example, right here and living close to me. You got J.J. Watt there. Do you guys really think he doesn't look impressive? You think he's not strong? You think he's not muscular? Do you think he shies away from general physical preparedness and cleaning weights and doing heavy weighted carries and GBP work and conditioning and everything else? You really think he shies away from that stuff? And a lot of you guys who think that, well, you focus just on looking good, do you really think you're that athletic and healthy? You really think that you're athletic? Or are you all show and no go? And there's something to be said for picking everything up off the floor and using it. There's something to be said for knowing that you can handle weights in any sort of awkward position to get them into place. The same thing. Let's talk about even something as simple as a dumbbell press, where people sometimes have spotters hand them the weight. If you're going to do something like a dumbbell press, Again, are you sure you're strong enough to really be lifting that weight? Are you sure you're not cheating in some way and short stroking yourself on the reps, like cheating yourself? If you can't, just pick those up and sit down and kick them into position or get them into position. You really sure you can handle that weight? And remember, Arnold Schwarzenegger used to write about that. He used to say something about he was having to do the incline press years ago on a bench that didn't have a rack behind it to put it on. And so they were doing tons of incline benching while cleaning the weight up and then sitting down with it. So having to clean the weight to his chest, even his high rep sets, and then sit down and lay down on the incline bench, and he felt like he saw overall physique improvements in general, that it just improved his overall musculature to have to do that, because he had to do it for several months, and he was incline benching a lot, doing a lot of sets of it, working on his upper chest and things, and he felt like having to do that improved him. And a lot of people would see that as a negative. They're like, well, it's detracting away from my main exercise, but is it really? It's improving you overall. And people need to lose this mindset of again, trying to use the fewest muscles possible in an exercise. Working as many muscles as you possibly can at any given time, as long as you aren't taking tension off of the primary muscles to do it. And that's oftentimes the case when people cheat on things. But as long as they're getting enough tension, there are no negatives to bringing different exercises into a lift. It improves your overall musculature. It improves your overall development. It improves your overall work capacity. And that's what we're talking about here. Being the best version of yourself. And then again, it's not like it takes you any more time to really do all these things. It doesn't necessarily take you more time. So you're getting free benefits. You're already in the gym putting in the work. You're already doing these main exercises. Why not get more out of them? Why not get more overall development? Why not get more speed strength? Why not get more work capacity and everything else, since you're already going to put in the work and do these exercises? No, what it comes down to is that people want to train to show off, and they want to train to try to, you know, show how impressive they are on a given set and save all their energy for it so they can show off for other people, rather than say, okay, am I in here to just get the results and get all the benefits? Can I be the best version of myself, and can my training reflect that? Doing stuff that's more difficult all the time, that maybe isn't always as impressive, is in its own right impressive, and it is going to make you more athletic, and it is going to give you free perks to doing it. The problem is that sometimes it's just hard work for people, and a lot of people who pretend like they're serious about training, or they're serious about being hardcore in the gym, when you look at it, they really aren't. They really aren't. They honestly sometimes really want to take a lazy way out that just doesn't require them to do any work. And things like this are just kind of extra work. They're extra work that a lot of people don't really see the payoff. But when you think about it, it really does have a payoff in terms of just overall development. And like I said, if you're having to pick up and awkwardly move and lift and clean and everything else, every single weight that you lift on different exercises, or not all of them, but the majority of them, you are going to get better overall development as a result of it. You're less likely to have weak points, because every muscle is having to do all sorts of little extra work at different angles periodically all the time. It will shore up a lot of weak links that you have in your musculature. And it's just something to consider, and it's something that was noted even by one of the bodybuilding heroes back there. If you're into bodybuilding, if you're an athlete, this makes perfect sense already. For people who are pursuing more aesthetic goals, even guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger noted some of his experiments having to do that because he didn't have a choice. He actually saw improvements and gains from it that were visible and noticeable to him. Alright guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.